Hello guys, here I am again with another build video. This time it's going to be a Strand build for my hunter. I'm mainly going to focus with this build on suspending my enemies and keeping myself alive with a woven mail. I've used this build a lot, and this is one of my few builds with which I did some grandmasters, not solos, with a fire team. But still, in my opinion, this is a good build. So let's get into it. We start with the Wishkeeper. Um, personally, I like using bows overall, anyways. So as you can see here, precision hits and final blows will build up energy towards the Snare Weaver arrow. The Snare Weaver arrow, when it's able to be shot, you will only be able to trigger it using hip fire, so no aiming down sights. That's going to be a regular arrow, only hip fire. On impact, this arrow will create a trap on the ground, and enemies caught in that trap will suspend those targets, basically tying them up and putting them into the air. They're unable to do anything and gain increased damage, which is very nice. It works. Yeah, it's very nice to suspend your ads, the basics, basic enemies, and get to focus some damage on the boss while the other enemies are unable to do anything. Or you can kill those enemies quickly and then get rid of them and focus on the boss further, so you can do either one. Here again, using a sniper rifle and the sword. With the sword, your mobility on this build is going to be insanely high. Yeah, you're going to be zooming around the map if you want, because of the grapple also and your sword. So that's going to you're going to travel a lot, probably. Then for exotic armor, we're going to use Gritarachnes Facade. And what this does is when you use your grapple, you will grant woven mail. While active, this will give you flinch resistance and health when defeating targets while you have woven mail. So yeah, quite a great survivability with this. Of course, Silk Strike, nothing else to choose there. Gambler's Dodge again, because, well, we got no really weapons to reload. So Threaded Spike, of course. And then Grapple. This is both our defensive and offensive. Yeah, it's both going to be our defensive and offensive thing. Which is ability, that is it. Because of the grapple melee we can do, and the woven mail we acquire from using our grapple. By aspects, we have Whirling Maelstrom. This is very nice because the tangles you throw are going to whirl around and deal a lot of damage. This will also, when it defeats targets, it will like shoot those little strand arrows to nearby targets and damage them a little bit. Also, your whirling Maelstrom Tangles are going to work the same as a grapple point. So you can grapple to your whirling tangles without spending a grapple charge, which is going to give us a lot of free grapple melees, which is going to give us some great damage output. Then we have Widow's Silk. Like I said here, when we use our grapple melee, grapple ability, we create a grapple point. We can either grapple to the grapple point without spending our grapple charge and giving us basically a free melee, or we can grapple to our whirling tangles. Now the additional grenade is very useful because we can allow ourselves to mess up once and then just continue with a second grapple charge and like nothing happened, just keep killing. For fragments we have defeating suspended targets with this group, which we're going to get a lot. Grants class ability energy. So we're going to get our Gambler's Dodge back quicker. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. This is just nice. You could trade this for a different one because we're going to have a lot of Woven Mail already. For instance, you could use a Thread of Fury. Don't know how necessary it is, but it's nice to have. You could. Sorry. Thread of Transmutation is also very nice because we're going to have a lot of Woven Mail. We're going to create additional tangles. As long as we make final blows with our weapons though, so Threaded Spike and Grapple Melee won't work on this one, only with our bow or other weapons we're using. This one is nice too, giving our bow unraveling rounds. That will mostly be nice against bosses or mini bosses because most normal ads we can just kill with 1 or 2 shots with our bow, so that's not really worth it for the ad clearing. Doesn't really do much there. Well, and you could always use the Thread of Continuity to increase the suspend, unravel, and sever effects applied to targets. So that's mostly going to be for our suspend. That's going to last longer, probably by 50%, I believe. This one's very nice because it gives her more time to focus on enemies that are not suspended, and it just keeps immobilizing the already suspended targets. And then we have Thread of Wisdom. Defeating suspended targets will create an orb of power. Well, you're going to suspend a lot, so you're going to have a lot of orbs of power, which is going to be nice for ability replenishment and armor stacks. And lastly, Threat of Regeneration. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. Well, you're basically going to have infinite grenades on this one. Because this also applies to our Wailing Maelstroms. So we can just throw our Wailing Maelstrom into enemies. It will keep damaging for a while, giving ourselves a consistent amount of grapple ability replenishment. And of course, on top of our other damage output, we're going to keep grenades, basically having infinite grenades. Now, previously, I updated this build a bit. Previously, I used Ensnaring Slam because this using our air move, we will drive to the ground using our ability energy, suspending enemies again, and giving ourselves Woven Mail. But I figured that I want more damage output instead of a more, because this is more for a defensive type of playstyle. This is more for offensive, and I really wanted to, get in there and deal more damage instead of staying behind my cover with Woven Mail. So yeah, I updated that, and this one, not for this build, definitely not. I'll show you. By the way, I'll show you the unupdated Strand build in another video, because I think it's worth mentioning, because that was a very fun build too, honestly. So yeah. Also, you could either go for Wishkeeper, that suspends your targets. Now, if you're not really, if you don't really like the suspending, you could use Quicksilver Storm. I use this gun a lot too. With the Catalyst, I do recommend getting the Catalyst for this one, because then it's going to be because normally this would not have an element. With the Catalyst, we will get the Strand element on it. Well, and here we're going to have, as you see, landing multiple hits turns your next shot into a homing micro missile. That's nice, because when we land that's just going to, those micro missiles are just going to keep shooting as long as you're shooting with this gun. And you can switch between like auto rifle mode and grenade launcher mode, so that's nice to have a 2-in-1 gun. So yeah, that's also a very solid option, Quicksilver Storm. I use that a lot too. Now to show you, we have like okay, as you can see, I now have my 6 stacks of Snare Weaver. You see the arrow is a bit pulsing. Aiming down sights won't trigger the Snare Weaver arrow. We will only be able to do that when flip firing, and then this will happen, giving our damage increase Suspending Tangle, we're able to throw that. Grapple continuously and like yeah, and we have another tangle. Grapple to that, deal damage. Keep on dealing damage, and as you see, another called Growing Tangle. Oh, now the enemies are dead all. But you're not gonna run out of enemies quickly in missions, so those whirling maelstroms are going to keep damaging and damaging. So your grenade is going to be replenished a lot more consistently than at the moment. So I suppose that is all for this build. You know what? I'm just gonna already show you what the unupdated is. Very easy. Doesn't really matter at the moment. I used to use and Quicksilver Storm. So the fact we don't get, I'll show you what the, so that little grenade, that's that homing, well, that little explosion, that's the micro homing missile. Keeping our reload button pressed in, we're switching modes. Now we're just in auto gun. Now we're in grenade and shoot a grenade. Get our grapple. As you can see, I now have 3 passability charges which I can use to dive down and strand everything, kill everything. Keep shooting, right? As you can see, pretty nice board clearing on this. I'm going to put a clip in here of both builds. So you're getting one with the Wish Keeper and all the rest, and you're getting one with Radiant Dance Machines, Quicksilver Storm, this one. And I already can tell. Now I do prefer this build, the previously updated one, because it's just I like having a lot of ad clear, and it's decent against bosses. It's not that good. The Wish Keeper with the Critarachne and Widow Silk, that is going to be more boss damage, because, well, I can show you at the moment because I don't have ads and bosses in this. Oh, okay, never mind. Anyway, so that's going to be a lot more for bosses, because you're going to get your whirling maelstroms and grapple to them all the time. Keep damaging the boss with your grapples a lot, with the grapple melees. So yeah, that's about this build, or both builds and that. So yeah, you have 2 builds in this one. Well, I hope you like it, and I must say, this is one of my few builds that, again, isn't just for fun. This is actually a pretty good build, and I've done Grandmasters with this in fire teams, not solos. And well, I easily soloed like master difficulty. That's just, you know, easy with the damage reduction from Woven Mail and the constant grappling and suspending, and you get the idea. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy this build. And well, once again, if I forgot something, please tell me. And you can always give me feedback as usual. Give me some tips on my builds and how to improve. So, see you guys, and I'll put in 2 clips. First of the unupdated build and then the updated build.
Comms are 5x5. We've got eyes, but nobody on deck. You're on your own.
Not so. The Guardian has heavy weapons and plenty of grenades. Oh, and Ghost.
Hey, makes sense.
giant boss, collect loot.
Running from planet to planet, putting out fires.
So yes, as you see,
You can add Kepler to that list now.
I wouldn't say it's the same build, but it's not bad either. So yes, I'm immediately going over to the unupdated one, so you can see what that build does exactly. I prefer that one over this one, but just try them out both, I would say, and see what suits your playstyle better. And here we are with
You're up, Guardian. Let's clear this sector as quickly as possible.
With any luck, we'll be long gone before major reinforcements arrive.
down and you're home free. Area secured. Won't last long, probably. Nevertheless,
With this
it is
build,
best to
I
celebrate the
normally
small.
would have more dodges to have my suspending fall with ensnaring slam. At the moment I didn't get kills in a short amount of time, so I didn't get a lot of dodges, but when you have bigger hordes you're easily getting those dodges and you can just suspend basically anything you see right there. So yeah, this is the build I prefer because of Quicksilver Storm. I just like it has an auto rifle and a what's it called, grenade launcher, like 2 at one time. So 2 in 1, yes. Well, I hope you can use this build too. And as usual, put feedback in the comments down below. Thank you all, and till the next one, guys.